Hello everyone. So today we have with us in AAP Ka Radio Murari Jha, and he is a Delhi Government School teacher in R.K. Puram Sarvodaya Vidyalaya. And apart from doing teaching students, he is also a full-time PhD student, and he is doing his PhD thesis in education. And if you guys remember, there were five or six Delhi school teachers who were selected for the U.S. Fullbright scholarship. So he is one of them, and he has been in New York for the training and other East Coast region. So we had several calls with AAP leaders and AAP volunteers. So this call is different. So we have a government school teacher who will be teaching all the government Delhi government initiatives which has been implemented in the schools. And so from time to time we have seen the photographs from Delhi government schools, swimming pools, infrastructure, and the different initiative taken in the classroom. So we'll have a glimpse of all of those. So let's welcome Murari Jha here in the call.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Aditya. I'm excited to talk about the various initiatives the Delhi government has undertaken in the last 3.5 years now, and that has brought a significant change in the overall academic environment in the schools in Delhi.
Yeah, so before we start, I would like you to give more introduction about you because I just had said two, three lines about you.
So, hello everyone, whosoever are listening me on this conference call. I'm Murari Jha. I have been working as a teacher for now around 10 years, and so basically, I'm trying to, you know, implement some alternative pedagogy for the teaching and learning. Basically, trying to include the previous knowledge and the day-to-day life experiences of the students in the classroom and juxtaposing it with the prescribed curriculum. So this is the kind of practices I do in the class. As far as my academic journey is concerned, uh, I'm graduate in history and also BA, that is referred as a bachelor's in education. Then I have three masters, one in history, one in education, and I also got MBA done. One of my masters is in education from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, which is considered as one of the premier institutions in India. And as of now, pursuing a PhD. And as Aditya already mentioned, I got the Fullbright teaching fellowship, which brought me to the US for around 7 weeks. I was there at George Mason University, Virginia, for 7 weeks. So, yeah. And for last a couple of years now, apart from my teaching, I have been participating in the various policy initiatives of the government in the consultative process where I have given my own feedback about a particular program or an initiative. As of now, this year only, after returning from the US, uh, I have started working as a mentor teacher in the Delhi Govt School. Yeah. So this is something about me.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the mentorship program later in detail. So before we go into details of Delhi government policy implementation and Fulbright scholarship details, so recently Delhi government has introduced the happiness curriculum, which will be implemented from next month. So that's our recent well discussed among different users across world. So if you can explain a little bit about the happiness curriculum, how the idea got drafted and how this will implemented and how this will impact the students.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to participate in the various consultation process about this happiness curriculum, and I got the opportunity to sit with the Minister of Education and also Deputy CM Manish Sisodia. He's very enthusiastic about this whole process. So basically, this comes out of his own journey in his life, where he sees that the school education has turned more and more technical and mechanical, where there is less space for the human values. And he finds that the school must offer something which actually talk about the real essence of the life, and that is the happiness. So it should attract the children. There should be something in the school which attracts the children, and what could be better than the happiness if the school curriculum offers the happiness. So, various talk of the PCM itself reflects about the need of the human value in our educational process. So that's
Yeah.
somewhere I find inspired him to think about this. And he held, several round of consultation with the teachers, teaching in classes 1 to 8 at different levels. He
Hmm.
himself has been involved in that, and a couple of meetings even I went there. He also sought the opinion about the experts working in this field from the different parts of the country and world.
Hmm.
A national workshop was organized by the SCRT on this theme, where people from across the country came and presented their opinion.
Hmm.
Uh, this has been the process. So basically, what happiness curriculum is trying to bring is that a 45 to 50 minutes period each day for the students studying between class 1 to 8, where in the activity mode they would be taught the important values of life which actually influence the way they live. So this is
Hmm.
something apart from the day-to-day academic talks and all. So this is something the core, I mean, which helps us live a better life. This is what the government is trying to inculcate through the happiness curriculum. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, I never had this opportunity to go such initiatives, and I was always busy morning to evening of classes, half an hour, and this 1 hour lunch break, and that's it. And so
Yeah,
you
exactly.
also mentioned about the involvement with the Delhi government advisors and the school teachers. So, and you said
Yeah.
you work as a teacher for past 10 years. So you have seen the transition between from Congress government to the present Delhi government. So what kind of differences you have noticed between these two governments
Yeah.
when,
I mean, yeah, I have
in terms
worked.
of policy implementation and the engagement with teachers?
Yeah, yeah, I have worked. See, the assumption used to be in these schools that most often the policies are made on the top and it is being imposed on the teachers. But as the new government in Delhi, the entire orientation is the people, or it's a people oriented. So basically, they started including the teachers, the parents, in designing all the policies. And that's a major shift. I worked earlier also, but since this government took the charge in 2015, it was felt, not only me, hundreds of teachers have participated in various initiatives of the government, right from the beginning of a particular policy. So, Atisi Marlena, the advisor to the PCM, she has played an extremely important role. She consulted hundreds of teachers before taking a particular decision. So, like the programs like mentor teacher program, the teacher development coordinator program, or
Mm-hmm.
bringing SMC and school together. For all these initiatives, he has actually gone for a consultation with the teachers. So teachers teaching either in the primary classes or in the secondary classes, the hierarchy of the teachers did not play any important roles. Just being a teacher, they participated at various levels in the policy making. I have been the part of many such meetings where we discussed about the various steps or the requirement of a particular policy. So it's a major shift. Otherwise, the policy making has always been considered as the work of certain expert groups, and the teachers were generally not consulted. So it's a major shift. We could see that now for last couple of years, even teachers have contributed in the development of the curriculum. Like the
Mm-hmm.
government has introduced a series of, kind of support book for the students, which is referred as Pragati series. And all those Pragati series has been developed by the government school teachers, those who are teaching in the classroom. So it's basically whatever is happening, that is happening along with the teachers, parents, and the school heads. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, how the easiness between the interaction between the teachers and the Delhi government employees, it has been increased. Means that it is more easy to approach them than before.
Yeah, see, there are several channels of interaction now. Earlier, there used to be just one hierarchical channels of bureaucracy where generally it's a one-dimensional communication, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this government has tried to break that one-dimensional communication and has opened the opportunity for the say multi-dimensional communication. So teachers has the opportunity now to interact with the various officials at different levels. So certain institutions were created, like I'm referring again. So mentor teachers are also the teachers, but mentor teachers are now can directly interact with the education officers working at different levels. They have access
Mm-hmm.
to the Deputy CM office for if they have certain opinions or certain suggestions to give. So multiple channels have been opened, and through the mentor teachers and teacher development coordinators, the teachers working in the school can also communicate about their own needs and desire for a particular change or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's really
So
good to
that
hear that
that I
the participation between the teachers and the government advisors is increased. So, if
yeah.
before we move to the Fulbright scholarships and the educational system differences between US and India, if anyone of you have any question, please unmute and ask. So, Vijaya and Sajan, do you have any question for Muradi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Sergeant.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Murari ji, the question is,
Hi. Hi.
recently
Yeah.
there has been a lot of issues, right, between the bureaucrats and the government. Are
Yeah.
there any similar issues hindering the, teaching sector and those related projects?
See, at the school level, since it's the prime focus of the government to maintain the smooth functioning of the schools, so generally all those concentrations are at the top level, and I couldn't see any such disturbances which could affect the teaching and learning at the school level. The school has been running smoothly. Yeah, it could delay some of the major policy decisions about the reform, like the recruitment or continuation of the job of the government. Contractual teachers who are also referred as the guest teachers. So that could be a bigger issue, uh, or um, or like extending the infrastructure facilities further. So these could be the issue, but as of now, these confrontations could not affect the day-to-day school functioning. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Vijaya,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Done.
please.
Thank you.
Okay, Murari, I just had a question. This is just a little besides the subject. There are a lot of
Yeah.
teachers, who are seeing the success of Delhi schools and want to help out on a voluntary
Yeah.
basis, but they are not able to reach out
Right.
to, either Atishi or Manishji. And I was just wondering
Yeah.
whom they should speak to. I'm especially referring to Usha Pandit. Now, a lot of us know her through her post. And I've also personally
Okay.
experienced her because she was a teacher in my daughter's school. And she's
Right.
excellent with creative thinking and, new learning methods. She's especially very good with grammar and stuff like that, which children struggle with. And she has had
Yeah.
immense success and she wants to help out the Delhi schools, but, somehow the meetings are not happening, and I would like to talk to you about this in private too, but I just wanted you to let
Yeah.
you know because a lot of people are approaching me how to reach out.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. See, talking about the various initiatives of the government, this government is also open for all different kind of expertise available within the country and outside. So we have been working with the organizations like CreateNet Education for the leadership training, with Joro Gyan for the mathematics training, um, and with Saja for the SNC and the school integration, and various other organizations, STIR for the teacher development program. We have been quite open, yes, as far as the individual and the government is concerned. Uh, it again still even the individuals, if they come with certain expertise, they can be accommodated. We have certain channels where they have to contact. So there used to be a district-wise education offices where one need to go and seek permission from the education officers to get into the school. Otherwise, they can also contact to the OSD, Deputy CM, and the OSD Director Education. They can write mail or call, and based on their requirements, they give permission. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. I will ask them to get in touch with you. But
Yeah.
some channels need to
Yes.
open because they want to contribute out of their own willingness. They want to share their expertise, 40, 50 years in the education field, and I think we should we should welcome them.
Definitely. We actually need such contributions from the people who have the expertise, and we are quite open for that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot, Murari.
Okay, so now coming to the Fulbright scholarship. So if you can explain in brief, what was the process to apply Fulbright scholarship, and what was the expectation, and what did you achieve after attending as a scholar in USA?
Yeah. So actually, the Fullbright fellowship is given in different categories. So the one which we got, that was in the teaching category,
Mm-hmm.
and it was for a shorter period of say 50 days. Generally, for the students who are doing research, it's given for around 9 months, sometimes even for 2 years. Well, for the procedure of selection, it has three step selection procedure. The first is the application, where they used to ask around 30 essay-based questions, which has to be written somewhere around 250 to 300 words in each.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that includes the SOP, statement of purpose, and the recommendation letters from the place where you're working. So that is the most crucial phase where they scrutinize the application and shortlist some candidates. Later on, they ask the candidates to come for the interview, and then further filtering through the interview, they ask the candidates to sit for the TOEFL test to check their efficiency in the foreign language in English.
Mm-hmm.
So after going through all these phases, finally they recommend the name of the few selected candidates to U.S. Department of State, and the final selection is made by that U.S. Department of State.
Okay.
So this is how this process happens, right? So the program which I have participated, that brought teachers from 40 different countries of the world. So almost every continent got represented in that. So we were put together for around 5 days at the Washington D.C., and then we got divided into 4 different universities. So I was placed at George Mason University in Virginia, where we were on 18 people from 16 different countries. So that is one of the biggest learning, that you come and you interact with the teachers who represent 16 different countries. So that is one thing which I come to know about the teaching learning, about the status of teachers, expectation of the parents, situation of the government schools in various parts of the world. That is one thing. The second thing is, yes, the program is designed to give you the opportunity to immerse with the U.S. educational system, and also understand the historical and social life. So we were there for around 6 weeks at George Mason, and then for around 1 week at a school. Austin High School is there at Virginia, so I was there for around a week. There I also got the opportunity to teach the students along with the regular teachers which they have. So it was basically in the universities we were given trainings in the reflection process, about the technology integration, about the teacher leadership, also about the special education. So some of the key things which I think which I could bring back to India, and which we actually need to see in our educational context, is I see it particularly in terms of the disposition, the attitude about the learning. Here in India, in my experience, I have seen that we generally focus on good teaching, that teachers should be very efficient, very knowledgeable. To the contrary, I found there that their teachers ensure that the learning should happen. How the teacher is, how efficient the teacher is, a secondary thing. The primary thing is that the learning should take place. So that they ensure both at the university level and also at the school level. So that I found phenomenal. The second thing I also found, which is actually required for a good teaching and learning experience, is the relation between the teacher and the students. I found there at United States, it is quite open. The students could put forward any question to their teachers. Even teachers could accept their vulnerability that they are not comfortable with this question or they need to learn more about this. Here we see in Indian context that it is still lacks and we need to learn about this to develop a relationship which is actually based on the idea of equality between the students and teachers. Yeah, technology integration was phenomenal. We are also moving not as resourceful as we are as the schools in the United States, but in Delhi government schools we got now at least two computer labs in each school. So we are moving towards that. But what I feel is that we need a major shift in our disposition about the integration of technology. There are
Mm-hmm.
still sections in the society which see that technology generally harms rather than adding into the learning, it actually distracts the students. But I feel that we need to change our disposition. Since technology is affecting all different aspects of our life, we can no longer keep it separate from our teaching and learning process in our schools.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing, the interesting learning is the project-based learning and the group learning. So I have seen and shared here with most of the with many of the principals. I got the opportunity to talk to a group of principals here. They appreciated it that the group learning and the project-based learning actually give the students get away from the mechanical learning in the class and develop certain expertise of working with the team, develop understanding. So that we are going to implement. We also learned about the importance of the lesson planning, though it is the concept here as well, but the kind of rigor which I could see among the teachers about the lesson planning was phenomenal. And I'm personally very, very inspired by that. So even as a mentor teacher, I have a role to look after five schools go and interact with the teachers. So right from the beginning of this session in July, I'm going to work on the lesson planning in the schools. I feel that it systemizes the learning in the classroom and also makes the teachers more efficient, reduce their time and energy. I mean, make them more efficient in the classrooms. Well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll say that the last and most important learning is about the disposition of the people, teacher, and all the different staff members, both in the universities and in school, about the special children. That I
Mm-hmm.
found was very phenomenal. In the schools, I could see for the special children, there was generally one-to-one. If there is one special child, so there was one teacher. So in Indian context, it's still difficult, though we now have at least one teacher in each school for dealing with special child. But I
Mm-hmm.
see there is a need of change in the disposition. We need to understand that they are the important part of the society and they need help, and we need to integrate in them in our day-to-day teaching learning process as important members of our school. So that is something, a couple of things which I have learned. Yeah.
Yeah. And how the infrastructure plays a role in education, because in schools in USA and Canada, in all the Western countries, they got world class infrastructure and all the facility with the technological classrooms to sports complex and everything. And Delhi government is slowly picking up. So how you think it's important for any educational institute?
Right. So infrastructure is the most visible change which the Delhi government schools have witnessed. It's really great change, and I think there's no comparison, at least in India, when we see the Delhi government schools. I see it with a couple of different parameters. One, which is generally stated, and that is true also, that it gives a sense of pride when you come to a school and you see that
Mm-hmm.
the place where you work or the place where you study looks so well. So it gives a kind of confidence. I see it also as an immense respect for the poor and downtrodden section of the society, because generally the children from such section of the society come to our schools. in India you find a kind of system where the rich people send their children to the higher and schools, the private school where the infrastructure is very good. The poor sent
Yeah.
to the government school where the infrastructure is poor. So generally, the school infrastructure were in proportion to the economic status of the people. This
Mm-hmm.
initiative of the Delhi government to build the wonderful world-class infrastructure uh, uh, actually has changed this ratio that the poor infrastructure for the poor people. This actually changes. So now the wonderful infrastructure, great infrastructure, even for the kids coming from the poor background. I also see it with one more aspect that from actually I have been the history student, so I generally see it in this perspective. That whenever the new ruler comes, they build certain infrastructure to give message to the society that what they actually value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you look into the history, the rulers have built the mosques, the temples, or the statue of the great person. This is
Yeah.
perhaps the first government in the history which built the school buildings to tell the society what they value. And I think even if we think symbolically, for a secular India, no infrastructure can be more valued than the school infrastructure, the school building. So it reflects actually what government value. So with that
Yeah.
sense, I feel it's a wonderful phenomenon which is taking place in Delhi. Yeah.
After you got some experience as a from Fullbright scholarship and learning from by inviting people from different countries, can a smaller training program be organized in India where the teachers can be selected all across different provinces in India and can be trained in same manner as you got trained in USA?
This is a very interesting question. Actually, we used to think about this when we were in Washington. Basically, the reason behind this was that we wanted to visit our friends' country. So we were asking them that can't you manage or organize any such kind of fellowship so that we can come to your country.
Mm-hmm.
So we were having friends from South Africa, Chile, Colombia, Azerbaijan, um, Belarus, Armenia, and many other countries, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we used to talk about this. When we came back here, I shared this with Atishi ma'am also. This is interesting, but the only problem is that this is the Delhi government, not the government of India. So there
Yes.
are certain limitations. Otherwise, it
Mm-hmm.
would really be very interesting because the participants who come from the different parts of the world, they bring their expertise, their understanding, and it basically helps develop the country a good relationship because it brings the people together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what else we can do perhaps that is, if not the international participants, at least we can do organize the national participants. India itself is not less than a continent. We have such a variety of different cultures. So bringing people from different part of the country to make them experience about what the Delhi government schools are doing, how these schools are changing, how the
Yeah.
pedagogy in the school classrooms are changing. I think it's a very interesting idea you're talking about. So this can be done perhaps. Um, Not exactly the kind of initiative we are thinking of for this thing, but at certain different level, government has certain exchange programs. Like last year, some of our teachers went to Sikkim to experience the education system over there. Even I went for a conference.
Mm-hmm.
Government is thinking to exchange teachers with the Jammu and Kashmir government so that we'll be able to understand, the Kashmiri people will be able to understand how the things are going on in Delhi. These all process also help somewhere break the stereotypes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, are you hearing? So it's
Yes. Yes.
really a very interesting idea, and we are thinking, and I'm going to strongly advocate this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, friends, if anyone have any idea or any question, please feel free to ask Murari here.
Yeah,
Jasmine, you
this
have
is
any
Arun.
question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
Arun,
is
go ahead,
Arun.
please.
I have a question. So, when we
Okay.
went back, we went to school back in India. We used to have textbooks, and the teacher used to read the textbooks, and we used to have exams on what's in the textbook. But here in the U.S., children are
Yeah.
told to research an area. Like they give them a subject and they go to the library, they go on the internet, they research and they present it to the whole class. So has that changed in
Right.
Delhi?
See, you have asked a very interesting question. See, it takes around 8 months, 1 year, or say 1.5 years to bring a change in the infrastructure. But see, bringing the change inside the classroom is a prolonged process. Yes, what you said, we know, and we are trying to bring that change. I can't claim that this has changed in every classroom, but yes, um, through various initiatives of the government, which we will be talking in a short while, like the mentor teacher program and teacher development coordinator program, we have been trying to bring this change to encourage the students to go and research. Now we have the computer labs with internet. We have a very good functional library. For the primary classes, we have been taking the help of a famous organization called Room to Read, for the children's literature. This year, the government also organized a kind of book fair where the teachers were encouraged to go and buy the books of their choice, put it in the library, encourage the students and do research using those books. So a lot of such initiatives are being taken. Some of the teachers who are innovative, they have started adopting all such things in their classroom. But I feel that we still need to do a lot on this aspect. Yeah.
Okay, I have two more questions. First question is, it hasn't happened many places, but children carry almost 5-6 kilos of books to class, to school.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And there are tablets available which that do away with that, and they can, use a tablet. So I did ask this question a
Okay.
while ago, and they said it's teachers are going to be given tablets, but students we don't have a plan yet.
Yeah. So, what do you want from me about this question? You already have information. Uh, I agree. Yeah. I agree. As I could see in the US schools, there used to be places where the students could store their own books and other materials. I think we should build this in our schools. But what the difference is that generally, with the Delhi government school, we have the concept of neighborhood schooling, right? So a student comes from within a kilometer. They walk. They don't use any other kind of transport to reach to schools. As the schools are located in every community, so generally they have to walk for around a kilometer. So that is one thing why perhaps the government is not considering. And the second thing which you are suggesting about the tabs, as I told, it's about the disposition, about integrating technology in our day-to-day teaching. So there's, even if they are thinking to give it to the teachers, so there's a step forward. So we can think that once the teachers get used to it, it might come into the classroom as well. I'm hopeful about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question, I think Finland, I'm not sure which European country, they're going to do away with subjects, and they're just going to have problem solving. So no more books. They're going to give the children a problem, and they will solve the problem. So no more making them read, and remember and write in the exam. It just proves that you can remember, But
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
Finland
Yeah.
only. They are going to stop books, and they're going to give children problems. So problem solving is what is needed in life after you graduate from college.
Exactly. Yeah. Uh, so what do you want? Do you want a comment from me on this?
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you?
at this point, sorry to interrupt. At this point, I think they are sending teachers for the training in Finland. But if they are implementing, so the system it will be tested. And I don't know if we have that kind of infrastructure or that kind of mentality to implement that one. But it's a good idea to
I'd
spread the
just like
word.
to,
Yeah.
Aditya, I
So,
would just like to add one line. That see, we are an independent nation for now around 70 or more years. But this kind of reform in school education we have been seeing for last just 3 years. So we have to wait a bit for that to match to what's happening in Finland. Yeah.
Okay, Murari, I have
See
a
what?
personal question. Just what made you work with government schools when you could have done so much other things with your education, like come to settle down in USA?
I think there's many people like me working with the government system right now. So see, when you work for a purpose, it gives a different kind of fulfillment in your life. So we see kind of a contribution which I am making in shaping and changing the life of the people. You cannot change many more life by giving money to the people or earning a lot of money, but through education we can actually change the life of the people. And when we see the children in our schools, we see it as we are in a role of breaking the barriers which they have been carrying for many generations. So it's like helping, contributing in the liberation of the people. This is how I see my role. Yeah.
Thank you for the answer. Just one quick addition to that. From the area where you are dealing in the Sarvodaya Vidyalaya, we know that the nursery school structure is coming under MCD, and we know that after fifth standard only it's coming under AAP. So has that gap been filled now? Is the schools improvement of MCD schools, are they becoming any better, or it will always remain like that unless AAP comes in MCD? What is happening on that ground? Because this is what we are doing is just bridging a loophole for now, but this cannot be a every time process.
That's true. I agree with you. In the form of this Chunauti and this recently it's going on Bunyad program, we are trying to fill that gap only, right? So, but it cannot be a permanent solution. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening on that front? My question is the MCD. Is there any improvement over there, or?
Not exactly. See, the improvement in the education comes with a political will. It doesn't come with a group of teachers or a bureaucrats, because I feel that teachers and bureaucrats are everywhere in the country. But a fundamental change comes when the political establishment value education and put it on the priority. As long as that is missing, I don't see there is going to be a major shift. Yeah.
Okay, so MCD schools are still in that shambles, even from the infrastructure perspective and all the other methodology of teaching and midday meal not getting.
See, if you compare the infrastructure with other states, it's in the better state. It's in the better position. Infrastructures are better.
Okay, right? Okay, let me make my question more specific. MCD schools in Delhi, and the Delhi government schools. If you compare both of them today, what is better in Delhi schools? What is not better in MCD, or what has improved in MCD in last 3 years at least?
I cannot say specifically about what has improved in the MCD schools, as I don't have any direct experience. Yes, only the infrastructure I could see from the outside, right? But there's not a significant improvement in that. It has been there for last around 10 years, which I have been seeing here in Delhi. But there's a significant improvement in the infrastructure with the Delhi government school in the last 3 years.
We all know about the Mega PTM Summer Camp and Chunauti initiative. So is there any other initiative which we are not aware of?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to talk about 2-3 programs. One is, I think I am not aware that how much you are aware of this, about this teacher development program and this mentor teacher program. This is two, and also about the principal leadership program.
We would like to hear about that.
Yeah. So basically, they find that there is a strong political will to bring the change in the school. But the ultimate change will come in the school, and that will be brought by the teachers and the principals or the head of the school working in the school, right? With the help of the parents. So we have, introduced certain programs. One is known as Teacher Development Coordinator. So what does it actually mean? That we have made one teacher as a teacher development coordinator in the school. So, and the responsibility of that teacher is to basically talk to the rest of the teachers about the various pedagogic issues, challenges they are facing in the classroom. That TDC, which we are referring to, Teacher Development Coordinator, is given trainings at various levels. So if he or she can bring the help to the teachers to solve the issues which they are facing in the classroom. If the TDC cannot help, they can seek the help of the mentor teacher program. So mentor teachers are also the teachers, but they have been taken out from these schools, and they got allotted around 5 to 6 schools each mentor teachers, right? So mentor teachers are being given best trainings available in the field of education nationally and internationally. So like last year, 200 mentor teachers were sent to Singapore for the trainings, and they are sent to the various parts of India to learn the best practices. And they come with their expertise and help that to extend support to teachers, teaching in the classroom. So these two, in fact, initiatives, one of the mentor teachers and the other is the teacher development coordinator, are working together, helping the HOS or the principal in actually creating the academic environment in this. So earlier, if suppose I'm a teacher of a social science and I'm struggling with certain strategy, or I'm using certain strategy and that's not working, where to go, whom to ask was missing. But now I have two persons. One, the teacher development coordinator, and the other, the mentor teachers to help me. If they could not find, if they cannot help directly, they have the access to ask the SCRT to open, and the SCRT will provide the expert to help me. So a wonderful, mechanism has been devised to help the teachers on the ground. So teachers need not to go anywhere else to seek a particular help. So on the ground supports are available now. So that is one. And the other initiative which I see is extremely important is the principal development, and also referred as the principal leadership program. So there is an organization called CreateNet Education which is working with the principals. And what they are trying to do is to change the way principals are working in their schools. Both principals and the people working for this change have realized that the authoritative method of working in the school is not working, right? So we actually need to connect with the teachers. We need to change the language of directions, and we should lead by setting the examples rather than by instructions and directions. So it's a paradigm shift, basically. Recently, I was attending one of such workshops where most of the principals were there, and it was phenomenal for me to see that the principals were acknowledging that they need to learn a lot to be a better leader. And I feel that what a better chance could be when both the teachers, the principals, and everybody feels the need of learning more. So that actually helps in developing a good economic educational environment in the school. I often refer to a famous educationist from Ireland, Mary Rose. So Rose actually talks about that the children learn when they see their elders learning. So through all these initiatives of teachers development coordinators, the mentor teachers, and this principal leadership program, we all are actually in the process of learning, and I feel that it's contributing in developing a better educational environment, academic environment in the school. Yeah.
And so we haven't touched about the SMC. So, and I heard about the SMCs are formed in different parts of Delhi, and I don't know who are the members of SMCs and how they function.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. This is seen as one of the major reform in the Delhi government schools in terms of school management. So we have, got RTE, that is Right to Education. This is the act passed by the Indian Parliament in 2009, and that made it mandatory for each school to constitute a management committee, which is referred as SMC. So I don't know about its status in the rest of the states, but in Delhi it was implemented with its original spirit. So in every 2 years, the election is conducted where the parents of the students vote for a 12 members committee. In that 12 members, the school head used to be the chairman of the SMC, and the deputy chairman used to be one of the parents' representatives. The teachers are also the member of that group. So in the 12 members, it's generally 6 people from the school, including the school head, and the teachers, and the 6 members are from the the parents community.
Okay.
So SMC has been empowered to take all the major decisions about these schools, including some of the financial decisions. Um, in the beginning, there was certain confrontation, as traditionally in the schools we were not habitual of letting parents have a say in the decision making in this school. But now I see that down the line, in a couple of years, there is a greater acceptability, and the school has started realizing the immense role of the SMC in helping the school run smoothly. So I would like to cite a couple of examples.
Sure.
Right now, we are having summer camps and mission bunyad in summer vacation in the school, and we are facing the problem of attendance. So children are not turning because of the heat, or some of them has gone out of the city. So schools are taking the help of the SMC members. They are going to each and every house, pursuing the parents to send their children to uh, the school. So this is how they are actually helping. Otherwise, we used to be helpless in case when there were no SMC. We used to call generally. The phone used to come to be switched off or not accessible. But now we have the SMC members living in the same community. We contact them. They go to the house of the children, and they sometimes bring them, or they. So they are actually creating a better environment and bridging the gap between the community and the school. Um, so I see that the school has acknowledged or have developed acceptancy for the parents. They have accommodated them, and now it's very cohesive. It's working very smoothly. Both see the need of each other. Yeah.
Yeah. And so each school have one SMC. Am I right?
Yes, each school has one SMC. Yeah.
Okay,
Unlike
okay.
US has the district level SMC, which controls the school in a district. Here in Delhi, we have each school has SMC. Yeah. And it's not just we have constituted the SMC body. We have been engaging parents. We have been conducting parental workshops. So if we don't feel that the training is required only for the teachers and the principals, we are also giving certain kind of exposure to the parents through the parental workshop, that how they need to to support their children at home. So yeah, I mean, we have developed a kind of system where we have engaged the parents in school development programs. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Manu Gulati. I have a question for Murari. Hi, Murari. Yeah,
Okay.
Murari, can you share
Hi.
something about the teacher training? Can you share something about the teacher training in the last 2 years? I mean, do you see any change in the kind of teacher training that is being given to teachers? Do you see any change in the teacher training?
So yeah, I mean, I have written an article based on my observation about the change that is available on the blog reflecteddiary.com. Despite there's a significant change, and the change is that it's now based on the need based on, and it's not like mandatory training which the CRT used to provide. Though still the training is being provided as a CRT only. The two couple fundamental changes which I see, that one is that the need has been assessed, that which kind of support teachers need to be given, and the second, the teacher trainers are also from within the system. So that I see is a fundamental change. So generally, it's the mentor teachers who are actually giving training to the teachers, and the mentor teachers got training from the best institutions within the country and outside. They know the context. They are the part of the system, so they are able to provide a better training to the teachers. This is what I see, and this is the change which I have observed. Yeah.
Yeah. So if training is being given by people who are from within the system, so I mean, you think that's something great?
Yeah, it's definitely great. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Jeshwan, thank you. You can go ahead.
Okay, so my question will be, with all the circumstances, all the training and everything you received, like you as a teacher will stay with the system, but the government and political will make change. So if Aam Aadmi Party, the present ruling government, is not there in upcoming term, how confident you as a teacher are to continue these endeavors started by present ruling government? If you can rate it between 1 to 10, then it will help us to understand the importance of politics in the system.
I feel that in case of the discontinuation of the present government, it would be difficult to sustain the reform because 5 years is too short period of time. I feel that at least 10 years required to build those institutions which can carry on the reforms. Um, I have referred earlier and repeating again that the changes have uh, occurred because of the change in the political will. Otherwise, the bureaucracy and the teachers are in every state of India.
Yes.
So political will is extremely important. The kind of passion the current political leaders have for the education, that is extremely important thing. So it's the top-driven, educational reforms which is being supported from the bottom. And I think to institutionalize it so that it can sustain, we need more time. We cannot expect the reforms in the field of education, can actually take place in a short period of 5 years. So we need more time for this kind of reforms. And then you are asking me to rate that how confident I am that it will continue. I won't give it more than 3. Yeah.
Murari Ji, this is Arjun. So, environment-friendly behavior, is that something that is being taught and focused sort of this, behavioral change? What I mean is because in developed countries, right, mainly kids will not throw out waste, those kind of things on the road or public places like park and all those things. But in India, that is very common. And I always felt like in a school, that should be something that, should be taught to the kids. At least they will go back and tell to their parents and who are at their, in their family. That way, maybe it will take time, but at least that information will be fed into their brain, and slowly they will start thinking about these things, and might be at some point that will, show some result. I just want to, give this as a suggestion in case if this can be implemented.
Yeah, I mean, not institutionally, but the schools at their local levels are trying to inculcate this kind of behavioral training to the students. One example, just I would like to quote, I have seen the officials from the Delhi metros coming to these schools to talk to the students about how to behave while traveling in the Delhi metro. So these kind of things are happening, but not on a regular basis, but occasionally it's happening.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Murari Ji, for all the insights from Delhi education system reforms. And it was really new, some of the facts you stated and all the process and everything. It was really new and exciting for us.
Yeah, I would also like to thank everybody for this wonderful opportunity. I'm really glad to interact with you all.